So you're in pain.
Yeah, my back hurts right now.
You've had a Mr. Bean week. You've been getting stuck on vehicles.
I have.
Yeah, everyone's in town this week, Chad included. People go to Disney Day on the Sunday after VidCon. Chad said, no, I'm going to go to Disney on Saturday. And that turned out to be a mistake.
Well,
I'm not burned enough.
There was a different group. I didn't know about the Disney thing on Sundays until Saturday night. And then there was a different group that wanted to go on Saturday.
Yeah, Steph texted me about it, and I was like, I got shit to do. I'm like, I have panels.
I had all my stuff before that.
Okay.
So it worked out, and so I was done, wanted to celebrate a little bit.
Right, for sure.
So that group was like, hey, we're going to Disney. And I was like, that sounds great. I've never been to Disney.
Yeah.
We go, and this isn't even the first like mishap that I experienced on this trip, but the Millennium Falcon ride, which is like essentially just a pod that they stick you in, they seal you into, because there's a door that shuts. They put your seatbelt on. It's one of those interactive ones where you have two pilots, you have a gunner, and then you have an engineer in the back. It is a fun ride.
It works.
Yeah, so I'm the gunner. And
you're like going.
Yeah, I'm pressing a button like this on the side.
Yeah.
Then it just shuts down, and it was right after we had crashed into the ground because it has a screen
in the game.
In the game, yeah. In the game.
You don't understand that it's a game.
This was supposed to happen, yeah. So it's on the screen, and you do drive it, so you can crash it.
You can crash it. I didn't know that was possible because I'm such an esteemed pilot, but yeah.
Yeah, so we had just crashed to the ground, and an alarm started going off, and so we were like, oh, okay, this is part of the ride. And so it took like 30 seconds for us sitting there with the alarm to be like, I don't think this is part of the game.
This ride sucks. This is such a long alarm.
This is kind of a boring ride now, because the screen also shut off, and you can't see out of the frosted glass of the front. So we're just in a sealed pod, can't see anything, and all we can hear, there's 3 speakers in this pod, is this blaring alarm and this voice that keeps going, this is an emergency, this is not a drill, you need to get out of the building immediately, you need to get out. And we're like trying to get out, messing with our seatbelts, and they're stuck. We can't move out of our seatbelts, and this ride goes up. I didn't know this at the time, so it got scarier, but it apparently goes up and down as well. And the higher up you go, the tighter your seatbelt gets. So when it stopped, we were all the way at the top.
It gets tighter by design to keep you safe. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're all the way at the top, and our seatbelts are as tight as they can possibly be, and we can't pop it out. That red tab doesn't move. We can't pop it out.
Right.
To prevent people from getting out during
Just
the
like
ride.
Star Wars, yeah.
So we're trying to pop it out, and we realize while we're listening to this alarm blaring, this voice telling us we need to get out, there's an emergency. We got split up as a group. So we were stuck in this pod, and the other half of our group was in a different pod.
Right.
Also got stuck, but only for like 4 minutes.
Not to interrupt you, but we do have a clip courtesy of Evan and Caitlin, who are wonderful people. Also, shout out.
So this is the other half of our group.
Yeah, so we can hear the siren.
We're stuck. We can't get out.
Moving.
We can't get out.
No, that's the scream.
We can't get out.
Oh, there we are in test. There we are in test. Okay.
What just happened?
Is there an emergency?
Not a helpful alarm.
No.
By the way, you're stuck.
Also, the way that video ends in the middle of the alarm doesn't inspire confidence.
No, because it's so anxiety inducing. It was so blaringly loud. Like you're trying to communicate with other people, and it's so loud that you're screaming over this alarm, and you can't get to each other because we can't leave our seats.
And you're trying to communicate with Rick? Who was that? We can maybe pull up the photo. There is Keith.
Keith, behind me. Keith was sitting. He got separated from his family on accident and ended up in the pod with us.
Poor Keith.
Yeah, so we met Keith. We were talking to Keith. Yeah, so the second part of our group was only stuck for like 4 minutes, and then they were out. Apparently, there was this line, this form of employees that showed up soon after the alarm started, I'm not sure how many, like 50. Basically, they were walking in a formation, kind of linked, and they would shout orders, and they would all take a step forward and take a step forward.
Oh my God.
And they pushed the crowd back away, like people trying to be onlookers of what was going on with the alarm. So
Like
they were
riot cops. Just
they were
like-
just like pushing everybody back. And so our other half of the group was out there witnessing that, I think. And so they're calling them, they're on the phone with them, and we're like, we're still stuck in here. We can't get out of our seatbelts. We're still in here. And they were like, oh, we've already been evacuated. And it's been like 10 to 15 minutes. We're like, we're still in here. And they're talking to employees that they passed, and they're like, our friends are still up there. And somebody told them, I've seen all the pods of the pods are empty, everybody's been evacuated. And we were like, no, they haven't. We're still in here, we can't move. What's
You like
going on?
FaceTime with them and you're like, hello,
Yeah.
in the cabin.
Yeah.
I think you're just in the real Millennium Falcon. You're not in one of the pods.
Walked out and we were at an indoor.
They're talking to whoever they can, and they're not being helpful. They're all like, oh no, it's not, nothing's wrong, everything's fine, everyone's been evacuated, while we're still stuck in this pod. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out how to get out of the seatbelts and what we're gonna do if like we start to smell smoke, because we can't see out of this pod. So that would be our only way of knowing if something like that was up, because it was a fire alarm. Like that is the alarm they would use for a fire. Even if I do get out of the seatbelt, it doesn't matter because the door doesn't open from the inside. It's one of those where they press a button and it slides and closes, and there's no way to open it. So even if we got out of our seatbelts, we wouldn't be able to do anything.
Yeah.
It hella seems like you should. It super duper feels like there should be something they let you do in there.
Yeah. So it just, I don't know. So we were stuck for like 25 minutes,
Jesus.
I think, with that alarm. And
Everybody else was gone. But
it was so, we got so sick of the alarm that
Yeah,
we were
you're
trying to put stuff in front of the speaker, and Hassan actually used the Mickey Mouse puppet to shove it up against the speaker, and is it holding it there with his foot to just stop the alarm because it was stressing us out.
It's so funny. That's like his daily D&D power.
Yeah.
Like his special trait. Is,
Right.
I know what I
like
have.
+2 dexterity.
Yeah. Yeah. Hassan, by the way, for
Roll
context,
for Mickey Mouse.
does Mickey Mouse puppetry on TikTok, among other things.
I had no idea it was such a long, elaborate stay and that you got stuck more than other people.
And that you were listening to the thing for the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not helpful, is it? It's like, I know we're stuck.
Yeah, they're the whole thing is like just a repeat message of them telling us to leave and that we need to get out of the building. And we're like, that's super helpful. Thank you.
By the way, your belt doesn't come off. Did you know that?
By the way, you're stuck. Yeah. And they were acting like we should have been able to get out of our seatbelts, because they eventually, what took so long was that we were at the highest point on the ride. And so they had to get like these rolling stairs, I guess that they use for maintenance. They had to go get them so that they could come up and get us. And so after like 25 minutes, we heard people outside with that, and they were like, hello. They started knocking on the door, which doesn't make any
You're
sense.
like, come in.
Yeah.
Come in. We're just hanging out.
Let me pop the latch for you.
Oh, we should leave, you say?
You said, sorry, we've been hanging out. There was a family that they had just evacuated right before us. We're in this back hallway, so there's a family with us as well, and their kids are crying because they were also stuck in their seatbelts and they couldn't get to
Oh
their
my
kids
God.
while these alarms are going off. They take us out, and we're in this back alley, and there's a row of fire trucks just in the back alley. Then they take us out past the formation of employees. That was kind of the deal on our end. I know Amanda ended up cutting her finger. Amanda from Swell Entertainment.
Yeah, Swell Entertainment.
was trying to get out of her seatbelt and like sliced her
Oh
finger.
my God. She's got a case.
Yeah. So, and when they got out, they had to go up to the employees and were like,
And I
bleeding.
heard they weren't taking her seriously.
they weren't. No,
Yeah.
it was really frustrating because, and I wasn't there for the whole part of that, but she was saying that they were trying to tell her she was fine and that she didn't need to go to the medical center because they gave her a Band-Aid, and she was like, I don't want to just slap a Band-Aid on this. I touched the seat, and I want to get it disinfected. And they were like, oh no, here's a napkin. And she was like,
It's a
no.
disinfecting napkin.
I know it was just a dry, dry napkin.
Chewbacca has touched this.
Yeah.
It's covered in Wookiee fur.
It's a magic napkin.
It's the happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
Disney rides, this happening at Disney has to be exceptionally rare.
Yeah.
I mean, it must be because people were looking, like all the onlookers that were gathering, that had to have been gathering because they had to go get an army of employees to push them back. Everybody else in the pods was super upset. And after that, we went to the medical center and recuperated and swapped stories. We were all like hugging each other like, oh my God.
Isn't the medical center is like, they dress as Goofy and shit?
Yeah, they're all dressed as Goofy. Yeah.
Big thick gloves, unable to accurately put band-aids on and stuff.
Like dropping bandages.
I lost my license.
After that, we went on the Buzz Lightyear ride, and
Bold of you to get back on her. Hell yeah.
it stopped midway. We were twice. It stopped
Are you
while we
serious?
were on there. Yeah.
What?
We were
Gucci girl, how you doing? How you moving, girl? Moving, girl. How's your day looking? That future girl, yeah, we on now. Take my money, go away, all you want it.
Girl, too rich for me.